Doing, where they started from, where they are, and what the projections for the future are. So we want you to join us on this journey. We'll see. So open up your mind, please place your attention on the multimedia screen and enjoy this video.
It is a testament to Nigeria's readiness to lead, not just to follow, in the evolving global PPP ecosystem. Let me at this point assure our local and international investors that Nigeria is open for business, and more importantly, ready for partnership. With over 200 million people, a growing middle class, rich natural endowments, and an enormous infrastructure gap estimated at over $2.3 trillion. The case for PPPs in Nigeria is not only compelling, but it is urgent. At the ICRC, we are aligning regulation with facilitation, compliance with collaboration. We are committed to ensuring that every PPP transaction is not just legally sound, but economically viable and socially impactful. The Commission stands ready to walk this journey with all of you gathered here today. All partners, from project conceptualization to financial close and beyond. And this we have done with the full backing of His Excellency, Mr. President, and his clear charge to the ICRC to ensure the acceleration of investment in national infrastructure through innovative mobilization of private sector funding. President Tinubu has taken deliberate steps to strengthen the ICRC, endorsing streamlined processes that enhances our ability to deliver PPPs faster and more efficiently. In 2024, it directed that all MDAs must comply strictly with the ICRC Act and guidelines in all PPP transactions, a clear statement of its commitment to a rule-based, transparent infrastructure development. I think the President deserves a round of applause for that. He has preserved the integrity of our regulatory mandate, never interfering with our processes. Instead, he routinely directs prospective investors and partners to engage directly with the ICRC, reinforcing our role as a statutory gateway for all federal PPPs. Under the leadership of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have witnessed unprecedented speed in the approvals of PPP proposals before the Federal Executive Council. The President's support is enabling us to fast-track critical national projects, including the Dowsy Hausa Dam in Adamawa State, a life-saving infrastructure that will mitigate the perennial devastation caused by water releases from the Lado Dam in Cameroon. Mr. President, we do not take your support for granted. It is your renewal agenda that has renewed the confidence of investors. It is your leadership that is reshaping the Nigerian PPP narrative from theory to action, from potential to progress. I once again thank Mr. President for his unwavering support and political will to champion the cause of PPPs in Nigeria. I would also like to express my profound appreciation to the Vice President, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, GCON, for his support in attracting investment and all those whose dedication has made this summit possible, from our honorable ministers, executive governors, esteemed speakers and moderators, participants, as well as our partners from the African Development Bank, the NESG, the AFRESIM, IFC, Africa 50, to mention a few. And importantly, the private sector players that have continued to show commitment to the cause of ICRC and insight and helping shape the future of infrastructure delivery in Nigeria. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, as we deliberate over the next 2 days, I urge us all to be bold in our ideas, deliberate in our engagement, and patriotic in our resolve. The work of nation building is neither ceremonial nor convenient, but it is urgent, it is collective, and it is ours to do. I thank you all for listening to me. God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
And under this particular administration, we can see what is happening. The infrastructural reforms, it's like rewriting history. It's like starting, it's like rebranding the destiny of Nigeria. We can see the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road. We can see what is happening. We can see what is happening with our power sector. We can see what is happening at our airports. We can see what is happening at our immigration points. We can see what is happening with the power sector. We can see what is happening even within the medical sector. It shows that this is a government that understands what it takes to take Nigeria out of the woods. And I have to say this, I'm not surprised. People might be surprised with the level of progress we're making, but personally, I'm not surprised. When you have an accountant, a private sector-driven man as the president, and you have a banker, an economist as a vice president, if you don't expect economic development, then are you sabi? So for us, we are with you. That's the fact, because we've never had it this good. You know, two eggheads within the financial sector And here we can see the reforms, which shows that when you hand over power to people that understands what power can be used for, then the result will be very secured, and we can see the result in Nigeria today. So DGICRC, I want to congratulate you. Mine is a goodwill message, is to congratulate you and thank you for your partnership with what we're doing together in immigration. We can see our e-gate project. We can see our data center, which is one of the biggest we have in Nigeria today, the 8.3 petabyte. They are all PPP projects. You can see what is happening, even with regards to our value interior optimization system solutions. All is due to your cooperation. Even with the Nigerian Correctional Service, now with Aerogym, we can now produce all our kits, our shoes, and everything without needing to export anymore. So that is a PPP arrangement. Thank you, DGICRC, for all these things that you are doing. Even our guard management system, it's all about PPP. And of course, other solutions that we still have in the offing. Because we understand government cannot provide all the resources. That is the truth. The private sector must come and share risk and also share profit. And that's what partnership is about. Thank you for providing the platform. And lastly, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, I want to thank you for the support that you've given to the private sector to excel. Thank you for the unification of the exchange rate. Thank you for the removal of the subsidy. Thank you for giving us an enabling environment to see that the Nigeria that we will be handing over to our children will be greater than the Nigeria that our own parents handed over to us. Thank you for these sacrifices. God bless you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo. And in the same breath, we want to say thank you for making travel processes.
To be speaking to you about this very important topic on how we can collectively generate and mobilize more private sector investment to bring about the jobs and the economic development for the people of Nigeria. So your leadership on this topic is most commendable, and I thank you for having this event. It is truly an honor to be here, not just to deliver remarks, but to affirm our shared commitment to unlocking Nigeria's full potential through ambitious and well-executed public-private partnerships. This summit brings together people who can make it happen, policymakers, investors, and key institutions. And what at stake is very clear. We collectively need to work together to accelerate growth, improve service delivery, and the essential services to all Nigerians. Over the next 2 decades, it is estimated that Nigeria needs the equivalent of $2 trillion to close its investment gap, including spending on physical infrastructure and other key aspects for economic development. In an environment where public money is scarce, which is a reality across the world, by the way, mobilizing private capital is critical. Focusing on private capital through public-private participation and partnerships can bring this critical gap to a close. At IFC, we believe that well-structured PPPs are not just a financing tool, but they're a catalyst for change. They crowd in private capital, they enhance efficiency, and unlock innovation in public service delivery. But to work, PPPs must be designed for success, with risks fairly allocated and returns that reward performance, not shortcuts. Done right, PPPs inject new capital, upgrade infrastructure, improve service delivery, but free up public funds to invest in other priorities such as education, healthcare, and critical infrastructure. The ripple effect is real and it is measurable. To unlock the full potential of PPPs, Nigeria will continue, I have no doubt, to strengthen its institutional and regulatory environment, because an enabling and transparent and predictable business and regulatory environment is the mobilizer of investment, as we heard the Honorable Minister of Interior speak In fact, doing business is critical. That means embedding transparency, efficiency, and investor-friendly policies across the project cycle. A strong framework does indeed send a message, as we have heard in the previous speaker, that Nigeria is open to business and serious about the results, and it has no time to lose. At IFC, we see clear signs that this is exactly what the Nigerian government and leadership is embarking on. And we commend recent government efforts such as ICRC's work in updating the PPP guidelines and the publication of a transparent PPP project pipeline on the ICRC website to enhance planning and visibility. But let's go further. Let's reduce red tape, speed up delivery timelines, and enhance competition, which will only improve the performance overall and will boost investor confidence and unlock new flows of investment. Investors follow predictability. They invest where contracts are binding and where disputes are resolved swiftly and fairly. That's why we welcome the government's 2023 draft national arbitration policy, aimed at making Nigeria the default seat for public arbitration. This sends a powerful message. Nigeria is serious about fair, timely, and transparent resolution. And this is exactly what investors are looking for. IFC is proud to be a long-term partner in Nigeria's PPP journey. Through our transaction advisory team, we're working with key government ministries to translate national priorities into bankable investment projects. And we have already dedicated an experienced team here in Abuja to work closely with the government counterparts. For example, in 2025, with the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, we were proud to support Nigeria's asset monetization program. Led by MOFI, BPP, and ICRC, it is a bold initiative to turn underutilized state and public assets into engines of economic growth. IFC is proud to be supporting this program to unlock the value of the national-owned assets and attract private expertise, inject fresh capital into the economy, and free up public finances for priority sectors. If implemented fully, this asset monetization program will be a cornerstone to Nigeria's fiscal transformation and will accelerate the Accelerated Stabilization and Advancement Plan. We are also very happy to be discussing programs with the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning to develop PPP projects aligned with the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan, which envisions up to 2.3 trillion in projects in Nigeria by 2043. And we hope to work with the ministry to identify high-impact PPPs and other pre-feasibility assessments. We're also working to make sure that travelers to Nigeria have airports that are welcoming to the 15 million travelers to this country. Working in power, and I hear you, working in power to make sure the Federal Ministry of Power can explore PPPs and other important assets. Together, IFC will help the government of Nigeria achieve its objectives, which we already see they are well on to doing. But IFC does more than just provide advisory services. We also put our money where our mouth is. Last year, IFC brought in $5 billion to Nigeria in investments and financing. In key examples, for example, is a $1.3 billion a bond for IHS Towers and $1.3 billion for LMA fertilizer, and we will continue to do such kind of activities. IFC is committed to being a strong and solid partner for Nigeria, and I really thank you very much for welcoming us here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Dahlia. Thank you. Next, we'll move on swiftly to invite the Vice President of the Private Sector Infrastructure and Industrialization Africa Development Bank. Please welcome Mr. Solomon Kwanyo for a brief goodwill message. We would like to also...
Each of us here is aware that we cannot build a 21st century economy on 20th century infrastructure. This pact invites us not only to compare notes, but to co-create solutions anchored in the unique realities of our nation. The public sector of every nation is a mirror of the private. Ours has a long-standing history of collaboration to deliver value, and I'm privileged to welcome you to this memorable occasion. The old model of public-only infrastructure funding is no longer sustainable. Our national aspirations far exceed what public budgets alone can deliver. That is why we must innovate and why we must work together. We are not looking for investors to carry burdens, no. We are offering opportunities to create value. We seek long-term partners who are ready to help us bridge our infrastructure gap with purpose and precision. When we took charge over 2 years ago, we knew that a functional relationship between the public and private sectors will be the magic wand of transformation. That is what we are committed to, and that is what we are doing. We have strengthened the ICRC and enhanced its capacity to regulate, superintend, and de-risk PPP transactions. We are determined to deliver infrastructure that is both sustainable and inclusive. Our economic reforms have laid a stable foundation, from the removal of the unsustainable subsidies to the liberalization of the foreign exchange regime and the optimization of government revenues. We have acted boldly and responsibly. We are streamlining bureaucratic bottlenecks and improving transparency in our project pipelines. We have aligned our processes with global best practices and investor expectations. The National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan 2020 to 2043 remains our blueprint. It is our compass to raise infrastructure stock from the current 30 to 35% of GDP to at least 70% by the year 2043. But blueprints do not build roads. Policies alone do not generate megawatts. Your Excellencies, distinguished gentlemen, these goals require collective action, and that is the focus of the present administration. To our private sector partners, we ask not just for capital, but for commitment. Nigeria offers scale, 230 million black people. Nigeria offers demand and returns like no other African market. 1 out of every 4 black men is a Nigerian. And by 2050, Nigeria will surpass the United States as the 3rd most populous nation on earth, and our population will hit 440 million. But we need more than investment. We need innovation. We need efficiency. And above all, we need integrity. I urge you to look beyond the risks and recognize the immense opportunities to shape a nation that is not just rising, but ready to rise. The projects that emerge from this summit must not gather dust on paper or linger in bureaucratic limbo. We will fast-track approvals for viable projects. We'll ensure coordination across ministries, departments, and agencies to enable swift implementation. We do this because we know that what matters to the average Nigerian is not promises, but power in their homes, roads to their farms, access to clean water, modern hospitals, and quality schools. We must build, we must deliver, and we must do it together. Your Excellencies, distinguished participants, Nigeria does not lack potential. What we have lacked at times is alignment of purpose and the courage to act decisively. And in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have an ally who understands your language, who speaks the language of business, who grew up in that ecosystem and rose to the pinnacle of his career in mobile Nigeria. Today, let us chart a new path, not just as government and investors, but as partners in nation building. Let this summit be remembered not for fine speeches. We have had very fine speeches for the past couple of decades, but for bankable projects, signed deals, and enduring progress. On behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on behalf of the 230 million people of the greatest black nation on earth, I declare the Nigeria 2025 Nigeria Public-Private Partnership Summit open. May your deliberations be fruitful, your commitments firm, and your contributions lasting. Finally, I want to assure our esteemed guests that Nigeria has turned the corner. We have crossed the Rubicon, and we are on a path to sustain peace and development. Nigeria is ready and open to business. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and may God bless us all. If you can harness it, you know, better use